Getting our hands on some video that shows what happened after a bizarre confrontation in Port Charlotte.
A 12-year-old got punched so hard it knocked some of his teeth out. 4 in the Corner's Deborah Souverain finding out the man who threw the punch says he did it in self-defense after that kid and his friends threatened him coming onto his property. Deb?
Amy and Patrick, the child says he never actually stepped foot on the man's property, but he does admit to walking over to him after he heard the man yelling. We also spoke to the man who punched the child in the face. He says the children were blocking traffic and he simply wanted them to go home. 12-year-old Malachi and his friends say they were on their way home from school when a man began yelling at them.
He was screaming at us, cursing at us, calling us the N-word, and then he came down into the middle of his yard, and I was like, "Who are you talking to?" Then he came down to the sidewalk and said, "Come in arm's length, and I'll show you what I'm talking about."
This is what he says his face looked like after the incident.
When I realized my teeth were dangling in my mouth, it was kind of shocking. I didn't know what was going on.
It was like a nightmare. I just knew I had to get there, and I had to get there fast.
The boy's parents are upset because the man who did this to Malachi was not arrested.
Where is it okay for an adult to take the law into his own hands and to strike a kid hard enough to knock out his teeth? Where is that acceptable? In what country is that acceptable?
According to this incident report, the man who punched Malachi was 27-year-old Vincent Servallo.
Originally, this is where the altercation took place, right here.
He spoke to 4 in Your Corner to tell his side of the story.
I told them that they all need to back off, and if they come on my property, I'm going to defend myself. And they were just like, "You won't hit us, you won't hit us," and they started to surround me.
He says it all started when he yelled at the kids to get out of the road because they were blocking traffic. This cell phone video captures the moments after Malachi was punched. Vincent says he acted in self-defense.
He touched me, and I let my hand out, and I ended up hitting him. It was not my intention to hit anybody that hard. It was not my intention to knock teeth out. It was not my intention to do harm or just cause any kind of trouble.
Vincent says he never expected things to escalate to violence, and now he's pressing charges against 12-year-old Malachi for assault, something the teen and his parents can't understand.
He's not going to jail, and nothing's happening to him, and he's basically getting away with it right now.
I want the man in jail.
The state attorney's office will be reviewing this case, and Vincent tells us he's been receiving death threats ever since images of Malachi began making rounds on social media. Today we saw a deputy escort him from his home for safety reasons. The children say they just want justice. Reporting in Port Charlotte, Deborah Souverain, Fox 4, in Your Corner.
All right, thank you, Deborah.